Hey, what is happening everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we have ourselves yet another retro console. First off, we have the box, and it looks pretty nice here, and lots of colors, lots of text, and it's advertising 621 games in total, which this time is true. We actually have all those games built in, and of course a list of all those games will be in the description below. So yeah, unboxing it, there's actually nothing special, everything just kind of spews out of the box for the most part, and inside we get the console, an HDMI cable, a USB power adapter, and lastly 2 controllers with decently long cables that are not too shabby for a clone. They do feel cheap and the cable is very light, but overall it is pretty decent to play with. That said, if the console only had no latency, but we'll get to that in just a bit here. And now let's go ahead and take a quick look around the console itself here. So overall it looks pretty clean, and there's actually no branding anywhere to be found other than on the bottom where it says model SFC and on the top where it says HDMI. And on the top we have a fake cartridge slot, obviously, a reset button, as well as a power button and this little bump right in the middle. Taking a look at the front, we got the 2 controller ports as well as the LED indicator for power. And finally, if we go ahead and take a look at the back, we got the full-size HDMI port as well as the micro USB power port. And yes, if you're wondering, you can power this thing with a power bank. Now if we go ahead and remove the 4 screws on the bottom here, we can actually get inside of it and take a look inside. And if you're someone who watched my last video about the Sega Genesis clone, you'd notice that it's pretty much the same layout, a small board, a big board, and the larger board happens to be the one that controls the controllers. And if you take a look at the chip itself, we have yet another expansion chip. This time it's from 2005, and it's pretty much the same company that made the chip for the Sega Genesis clone. So pretty interesting, and of course this time we have HDMI, unlike the other one which we had AV. And as for the controls themselves, they are overall again pretty good. They do feel lightweight, the cable is 1.5 meters long, so it's pretty good lengthwise. And yes, it does have the left and right shoulder buttons, which is pretty nice. The buttons themselves, they click very nicely, and overall they're pretty decent, so no complaints there. They're just cheap controllers that get the job done. But yeah, pretty simple console, it's pretty lightweight, you can pretty much tell from what's inside of it, but yeah, let's go ahead and power it up. So when you first boot up the console, it will boot up pretty quickly, and you'll be presented with this game selection screen with 6 categories to choose from. And if we take a quick look back at the box, it says Super HDMI Mini, and right beside it, it says Super Mini SFC, which combined with the looks of the console, it's pretty much a Super Famicom Mini console clone. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and see what kind of games they have decided to pack in here, if any of them are any good, and if they play at full speed. First of all, the console here runs at 720p with a stretched aspect ratio. Oh yeah, the menu screen here has this music playing in the background. So yeah, you can't really change any of that. So you can't change the aspect ratio, you can't change the resolution, and you cannot disable the music. Moving on. So on the menu, you'll find your 321 games categorized into these 6 categories: action, shooting, sport, fighting, racing, and puzzle games. And no, there's no Kirby. But there are a couple other problems that you should worry about first. So let's go ahead and get started by playing some Super Mario Bros. 3, right? This is supposed to be an SNES system, according to the box, or what it looks like. Let's see if that's true. And so far, not so good, because it's actually not an SNES system. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but the colors here do look very dull, and in fact I'm not even an NES fan, I'm actually a Sega fan. And everything here looks very off. The music here does sound okay, but it does seem like it is mono, and that I can tell from my volume levels. And yeah, the colors here are very dull, which is unfortunate, and it is running NES, not SNES. But that's what you get for buying a clone. So, does the game play well? It plays fairly well, except for the fact that we get back to is that the actual delay in the controllers is pretty big. The latency here is very noticeable, especially if you try to do anything crazy. You'll instantly just hate this controller, or the whole system. Other games like Contra, on the other hand, actually run horribly, and you cannot play them because the system here just cannot handle it. Basically, some games run very well, other games don't, and overall the visuals look pretty bad. All those nice vibrant NES colors are gone in this console, but that is to be expected. And of course, as you would expect from a clone console, you'll find games like this weird version of Sonic. It's got weird sounds, weird colors, layout. It's pretty much a remake of the original Sonic. and it's clearly terrible. And as you would scroll through the menus, you'd find gems like these. I think this was called Adventure Boy or something. It's actually one of the games I played in my childhood. It was a very fun game, very chill, and I really liked it back then. Still very fun to play. And of course, you'd find some really weird games like this version of Mario. It's a dark version of Mario. I forgot what the name is. Here it is on the screen. And I'm not going to show you too much footage of it. I'll just put the name up. You can look it up yourself. It's Mario, that snake kid, inside a weird castle. His ding dong is dangling, and it's a dark environment, so it's pretty hard to play. Then we have Contra, and again, we talked about this. It's pretty laggy. It's not running at 100% speed, and every time you despawn, you'll see that in other games, basically your character will just disappear and it won't show up until like seconds later, which is pretty annoying. And once again, the controls are very laggy, so that is to be expected. And yet again, instead of having a proper NES game, we have a knockoff, copy, really bad version of Angry Birds. And yeah, the colors look terrible. Then we have some Double Dragon, which does look like it is running at full speed, which is pretty nice. Here's me getting destroyed by Ryu. He just keeps throwing Hadoukens at me non-stop, so I can't really do anything here. But hey, at least we have Excitebike, right? That still doesn't make up for the fact that there is no Kirby. Well, I think that's actually pretty much it for this video and this console right here. Should you get it? Not really, unless you really want to get something real quick set up for your kids to play with these games. I mean, there are some really weird games like that Mario that I showed you, and all the main good games that are there are not there. Like Kirby, again, Kirby is not in this game, and so many other titles are not even Zelda. But that is what it is. It's a clone console. It's got a whole lot of games that you probably don't care about. The sound sounds okay, the colors look terrible, and the input lag is very noticeable and annoying. But yeah, that is actually pretty much it for this video. Let me guys know what you think of this format. I am trying to go ahead and move into the scripted territory. Once again, I haven't done scripted videos in a long time, and that's because I have done a terrible job at reading my scripts. I read too fast, and the video just becomes a jumbled mess. You know what I mean if you have watched my videos from the VR channel when I started. It was pretty bad. But yeah, you can see this video wasn't clean. It was kind of sloppy in the beginning. Eventually, you'll see much cleaner shots. Again, 4K, better audio, and overall a better production value. And hopefully the videos will just become more enjoyable overall. With that said, that is all for this one. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for content like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.